Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Franchise Empire newsletter. And today we have a good one. We are going to be talking about number one. There is a franchise brand that has average sales of 2.2 million. That is with franchisees that have been in business for 25 months or more. We'll talk about some of the other specifics of the numbers for newer people, newer franchisees, more established franchisees as well. We're going to talk about a resale that's showing 1.7 million in sales for the last 12 months. Pretty epic. We'll also talk about how a couple bought a resale doing 2 million in annual sales, as well as a senior care franchise with $10 million in gross sales and a resale for less than $200,000. If this is your first time watching, I'm just realizing we have, people where this is their very first time. You may not know who I am, who Franchise Empire is, what this is, etc. So just give a very quick intro every time. My name is Tarek Johnson. I'm the CEO and founder of Franchise Empire, been a multi-unit franchisee, and we at Franchise Empire specialize in helping individuals own a money-making franchise. And that starts with number one, first, finding and buying the right one, which is one of the things that we help our clients with. And we put out a ton of content on specific franchise opportunities. We have all sorts of trainings for you on how franchising works, how to make money, all sorts of different things. So whatever platform you're watching, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future content that we put out. And if this newsletter, we send out every Sunday morning, but we don't do the live stream until Wednesday. So if you'd prefer to have this in your inbox to be able to, take a look at this whole thing through your leisure and not have to wait until Wednesday, then make sure you go to franchiseempire.com/newsletter. And that will take you to here. You'll enter your email and boom, that's it. You'll get those emails. So let's dive into today. And if you notice that I'm not responding to your comments, well, it's for a reason. I'll tell you in a minute. But if you're watching, by the way, I know that some of you watch this live and some of you watch the replay. So if you're watching the replay, just let me know in the comments below that you are watching the replay. But let's dive in. So the featured resale, it's a company called Serta Pro. I'm very familiar with Serta Pro. I actually just got off of a call today with one of the folks that are high up in the franchisor at Serta Pro. And we've had a few clients buy Serta Pro. So just to tell you a little bit about them, they were established in 1992. They have almost 500 franchise units throughout the U.S. and Canada. And they are the largest residential and commercial painting franchise in North America. Entrepreneur Magazine, even though these rankings don't mean much except for size, ranks them as the number one overall franchise in the home services industry. But I know that Serta Pro, they're top notch. Okay, so let's talk about this specific resale. It's in Northern Virginia, and actually it's in around an area that I grew up in. I grew up in Northern Virginia. It was started in 2003. And oh, by the way, if you're interested in any resales, you can go to franchiseempire.com/resales if you're either interested in this specific one, or if you want to have a quick chat with our team so that our team can check through our network and connections what may be available. Sometimes we get access to some things that aren't like easily publicly accessible or available. All right, so this is in the Loudoun and Northern Fairfax, Virginia area. The asking price is $675,000. Last 12 months revenue of $1.7 million. If you want to know the cash flow, that's available upon request. So we do have that information. So, on a call with our team, we can share that as well as get you connected to Serta Pro and the selling franchisee. And again, assets and team information provided upon request in terms of what's included in the sale. All right. So what is our take on this? Well, number one, you may go, I don't want to own a painting business or franchise. That doesn't sound very fun or sexy. I'm not passionate about painting. Guess what? You don't need to. You don't need to have any experience in painting or home improvement. This opportunity is about leading a team, and you will get support every step of the way with field training, online training, technology resources, and turnkey marketing campaigns. Guys, Serta Pro's been doing this for a long time. Again, with probably over 200 franchisees. They know what they're doing, right? So Serta Pro, they boast a strong item 19. If you're not familiar with that is the section in the franchise disclosure document where franchisors can share how much money their franchisees are making, or at least in terms of what kind of sales they're generating. This particular resale's been around a long time. It's in Northern Virginia, and it's in a very affluent area with a lot of opportunity. Again, we talked about Serta Pro being one of the strongest home services franchises in the industry. They have a hands-on training that's 5 weeks and support program for their franchisees. I know they match you with like a mentor as well. That's a successful franchise owner when you first get in. They're really top-notch. Again, we've had a few people buy resales with Serta Pro, and they have a 90% plus retention rate amongst their franchise owners over the past 3 years, which is incredible. And so the number one goal of Serta Pro painters is to help their franchisees grow big, profitable businesses. I mean, you would think that's pretty obvious, but sometimes not the case, guys. You got a lot of franchisors out there that, their kind of number one priority is getting as many franchisees as they can. And they spend a lot of their time, resources, and effort signing on new franchisees. Serta Pro is actually they will only allow you to buy one territory at a time. That says a lot about them in a world where franchisors are quick to sell you 3, 5, 7 different territories. Serta Pro is just they're built different. They're wired different. So pretty cool brand. Again, if you want to learn more about them, you can go to franchiseempire.com/resales. You can see here, this is actually our check territory page, but going to get the resales is pretty simple. Buy franchise resale. It'll take you here, and it'll let me go ahead and just drop that in the comments for you guys. I cannot do that for a specific reason, which is this is actually pre-recorded. If you're watching this right now, I'm out of the office for the rest of the year, and which I'm pretty excited about. So when you guys are watching this is Wednesday. I'm going to be on my way down to celebrate my wife's birthday and stay at this really nice resort. So I'm pretty pumped about that. All right, let's keep rocking and rolling, guys. Let's keep rocking and rolling. All right. As always, we are now doing, we want to celebrate a new franchise owner that our team at Franchise Empire has helped. So we're sharing this one for a reason. And if you've been watching for a long time, you may notice that some of these names or the stories. So Liz and Dean, they're a young couple, no kids. They're really motivated to work really hard to build something epic. Oh, by the way, I just realized, we now put these as podcast episodes. So if you are listening to the podcast, you can watch this on YouTube. So you can go to the Franchise Empire YouTube page, and we put these on here. It's streamed. If you go to the section under live videos, you can find them there. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, go ahead and give us a review. Ideally 5 stars, but reviews help for sure a lot, because all the podcast platforms will typically rank in the search based on like how many reviews you have. All right. So Dean, check this out. Interesting story about him. He owned some Jersey Mike's locations and was still working in the day-to-day of the Jersey Mike's. And so was Liz. Liz was working for the Jersey Mike's location, and she wanted to leave and own her own franchise. And since they already had a lot of knowledge about franchises. They kind of knew what they liked and knew what they didn't like. And Liz is also an introvert and didn't really like doing sales. So wanted something that she could utilize her kind of logistical skill sets. What was interesting, when they came to us, they had worked with 3 different franchise brokers, aka franchise consultants, over the previous 12 to 8 months. And they were feeling very, very frustrated, skeptical, guarded, and they were running out of patience. They weren't having great experiences. And they went up, they had a few conversations with us before, deciding to commit and work with us, but they did take the leap of faith and they joined our Zero to Profitable franchise acquisition system, which is more robust than just working with one of the franchise brokers on our team. We give you a whole online virtual training to give you all the ins and outs of, franchising, how to buy, how to do due diligence, like some really incredible tools and information. We have like these weekly group coaching calls where all of our clients are able to come on. It creates this really powerful community. Anyways, within a few weeks, our team found them a quality resale doing $2 million a year in annual sales. We coached them through the due diligence, the overall transaction. They were able to put some money down and finance the rest through an SBA loan. So Dean sold us shares in Jersey Mike, and he's full-time in that business. So congrats, Liz and Dean. And by the way, we did do a podcast episode with them where they, really dove deeper into their journey and acquisition process. You can click this link to the podcast episode on our YouTube channel. I highly recommend that you watch it. Okay, franchise of the week. By the way, I just realized some of you may not be on our email list, and you're like, hey, how do I go to get all this? So here's a quick hack. If you go to franchiseempire.com, right? So let's just go here. I'm going to go back to the main page. And if you go to free resources, and if you go to Empire Builder articles here, and scroll down, and you will be able to see our past ones. And this was the December 8th one that we're going over now, the one that we sent out on December 8th. And you can see everything. No, it was not. I'm sorry. It's not here yet because I'm pre-recording it. That's why. So this will be the one that was sent out on December 15th. Okay. Franchise of the week. Guess what? Hold on, Tarek. It's the same one. Exactly. Because Serta Pro, by the way, they have, so each week we will show a resale and then we'll have a franchise of the week where it's more so like, hey, if you want to open up a new franchise. Well, Serta Pro does have some new territory available, meaning, not a resale. But because they've been around so long, most of like the bigger markets are sold out. And they have what's called like secondary or tertiary markets that are available. So they're just a little bit smaller, but a lot of opportunity. They have some strong performers in those markets. So maybe you're interested. Maybe your market just so happens to be available. So they were established in 1971. As I said before, they've been franchising, though, since 1992. I don't know why that's established, too. They went through some name changes, blah, 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 blah. Let's just talk about the numbers. They have 2 corporate-owned territories. They have 324 franchise units. This is in the U.S. specifically. That's not counting the ones in Canada. Franchise fees, $65,000. Royalty, 6%. National marketing fee, 2 to 3%. Total startup costs between $171,000 and $246,000. They have a 10-year franchise term. And these were numbers according to their FDD released on March 25th, 2024. We talked about them already, what they do. Some of their services include brick painting, lime washing, cabinet refinishing and repainting, concrete staining and epoxy finish, and pretty much every kind of painting, wall that you can think of, wallpaper removal, etc., etc. Let's talk some numbers, ladies and gentlemen, because I know everyone likes to look at the numbers. So, here's what I've done is I've taken a screenshot so I can actually adjust. Yeah. Oh, did I take a screenshot of the? Interesting. Okay, no, we're good. All right, so let's look at some numbers. Okay, so production year. So what they do is pretty interesting. I like it. So they're showing, okay, these are franchisees in year one of their production year. So that this means their franchise agreement was signed in 2022, and they had their first full year in 2023. So we can see that, okay, the average for all in the first year, $386,000. You can see the top 1/3, 425, mid 411,000, bottom 321,000. Okay. There were one of each because they're not really in these year. The reason, so number of participants is one, one, and one in each category. There's only 3 participants total. Guys, part of that, the reason being is because they don't get a lot of new franchisees because most of their markets are sold out. So that's why. Production year 2, let's talk about that. So production in year 2, the average went from $386,000 all the way up to $686,000. The bottom performer, $466,000. You had 2 middle performers with an average of $662,000. That makes sense. And then a one top performer at $931,000. And this is typically how the numbers overall play out, which is fascinating to see that, right? You got 2 in the middle, and then one bottom, one top performer. And that winds up happening in every franchise. You got your top 20%, you got your middle 60%, 60%, and then you got your bottom 20%, essentially, right? Or you can say you got your top 25, your middle 50, your bottom 25%. That's just the way that the cookie crumbles. Now let's talk about some numbers for some of the more established ones, which is where we got the headline for this title, right? So if we take a look at these numbers, which I think are pretty interesting, it tells a story. And part of the story is, everyone wants overnight success in a business. I want to start year 1 and pay myself 100 grand, 200 grand, 300 grand. Guys, it's a business. Think about your work career. Did you start out your work career making the amount of money that you're making now? Probably not. It took time. Same thing with the business, right? So if you're looking for a ton of cash flow year 1, it's probably not going to happen, especially starting from scratch. It takes time to ramp up. And even if you buy a resale, most resales are not going to have a lot of cash flow, especially after your debt service, meaning your loan payment. You got to, keep money in the business accounts, et cetera, et cetera. So let's talk about these numbers. The average. So this is the average for franchisees in production for 3+ years. And it's specifically for 25 months or more. And so you can see that the average is $226,000. $2.2 million is the average revenue annual. The bottom third averages $650,000. The middle 1/3 averages $1.4 million, and the top 1/3 averages $4.6 million. Here's the crazy part. Guys, look at this. There are 18 people that are at or above the average of 4.5 million. There are 22 that are at or above the average number of 1.44 million, and then 28 for 6.52, which is crazy. They had 172 reporting franchisees, and you can see the median numbers down here. Pretty darn cool, huh? Pretty darn cool. Okay, so what are some of the benefits for you as a franchisee? And by the way, if you're interested in this brand, but more so as a potentially new opportunity, you're like, I don't really want to resell. I'd like to know if some of those new markets are available. Go to franchiseempire.com/check territory. That will take you to this page. You will click that button that says get started for free. You'll fill out your information, and you do need to meet the financial requirements, right? Because every franchise has financial requirements. And we will be able to check for you. We have the list of markets that are available, so we'll be able to look into that for you and let you know. So, Serta Pro, they have national brand recognition. They've been around for 30 years. I think they do some sort of advertising and marketing, either in commercials or in like sports stadiums, something like that. I've heard of and seen. Low overhead, quick ramp up. You don't need a physical office. You don't need a bunch of inventory. For most of the franchisees, you're starting out using contractors. You're not even hiring employees. So, you're only paying people a certain percentage of the job as you get the jobs. States like California are different, where I believe you have to have employees. There's a lot of resale opportunities, right? So, we often see really strong resales that are producing, more than 6 figures of cash flow in the business. Excuse me. So we've had 3 clients that we've helped buy, source, and coach through the process of buying Serta Pro resales, in case you were wondering. Lead generation, you'll get assistance with pay-per-click advertisements, campaigns from corporate, allowing you to hit the ground running. No cold calling necessary. And it's a stable industry, right? People will always need painting. And a lot of people, like, who do you know? It's like, oh, if they're going to paint, they're like, oh, I got to paint. This is not something that can be replaced by technology or AI. In theory, right? I would say possibly could be. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. And I don't think any of us want a robot painting our house. So again, if you're interested in this franchise or finding out what franchises are available in your area, in your market, go to franchiseempire.com/check territory. Okay. Last but not least, on the latest episode of the Franchise Empire Show, which is now being rebranded as the Zero to Profitable Franchise podcast again. Excited to rebrand that. Episode number 83. It's this franchise is already making money. So we break down some franchise opportunities in that podcast episode. We pull numbers from the FDD. We talk about a senior care franchise raking in millions in sales. All sorts of good stuff. So you can watch that on YouTube, on our Franchise Empire YouTube channel, or you can listen on any of the podcast platforms. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. We will, instead of next Wednesday, which is Christmas, we're going to have the newsletter stream on the day after Christmas, on the 26th, Thursday the 26th. And then we will have it stream on Wednesday, January 1st. We will have that stream. And those will also be pre-recorded. Okay. You guys have an awesome rest of your day. Peace out.